Tonight, students are lighting up the MLK Commons to promote peace. What Muslims in our community say Islam is really about. And how to stay focused and energized in these last 2 weeks of school. We'll explain. NTC News Tonight starts now.
You're watching NTC News, DeKalb County's only television news source, on the campus of Northern Illinois University and from the Northern Television Center. This is NTC News Tonight.
It calls itself ISIS, a terrorist group responsible for recent attacks in Paris, Mali, Beirut, and Tunisia. And it's carrying out these attacks in the name of Allah. But here on the NIU campus, students stand united and say the enemy is not Muslims. Good evening. I'm Aaron Barogan. Thank you for joining us.
And I'm Stoney Royce. One way students are trying to promote peace is with a candlelight vigil at MLK Commons. NTC's Darius Parker shows us how students are honoring the people lost in the recent terror attacks around the world.
Love and peace were shared Thursday night in the Martin Luther King Commons as students gathered to promote peace and awareness of what is happening around the world with the recent terrorist attacks.
Set a watch upon your actions. Keep them always straight and true. Rid your mind of selfish motives.
Organizers placed candlelights and the symbol of a peace ribbon in the middle of the MLK Commons to focus on bringing people together regardless of race, ethnicity, or religious background.
There's been a lot of controversy, and I think I've seen a lot on social media, some students here at NIU that are saying some hateful and spiteful things about some of the events that have happened. And I think it's important to recognize that regardless of your view, what happened last Friday, there were tragedies all over the world, and that tragedy isn't a competition, and anywhere that devastation or tragedy hits, it deserves our compassion and our attention, and that we all support the people mourning together.
I'm at the Martin Luther King Jr. Commons here at Northern Illinois University, where students have gathered to have candlelight vigil to honor and respect and promote peace to those who've lost their lives in the recent terrorist attacks. Here I also have a candle while we're placed right here at the peace ribbon to promote that peace. Faculty member Shireen Al-Sawa says the enemy is not the Muslim people.
It's not the Middle East, but the enemy is actually the hatred that these people harbor in their hearts. One, it brings people together. Two, it educates people and helps them become united more as one hand rather than divided.
People together and tell them, this is not the time. This is the time to, unite and, fight against them, because what they want is pretty much, bring fear in our hearts, and then this is one of the events that will bring us together, unite and fight against them.
Flowers to represent the countries were placed on the steps of the MLK Commons as a message to honor those lost. For NTC News in DeKalb, I'm Darius Parker.
Thanks, Darius. The Voluntary Action Center has found a new way to fund Meals on Wheels after they cut the Tuesday meal delivery this month because of the Illinois budget impasse. But through GoFundMe, the program was able to get over $17,000 in donations. VAC is one of the many nonprofit agencies in DeKalb County struggling to help the community without money from the state. VAC still doesn't have quite enough funding to service the community next year.
I just think that this is such an indicator of the tremendous communities that are housed within DeKalb County, that people would come together in such a short time to restore such a vital service. We're very, very grateful.
And what a great time to donate. Giving Tuesday is tomorrow. It's a national campaign to promote local nonprofits in the community. DeKalb County organizations like Tails Humane Society, Kishwaukee YMCA, the Northern Illinois Food Bank, and the DeKalb Public Library are all participating this year. Donations can be made on their websites.
Home sales in DeKalb County are increasing even though fewer homes are on the market. DeKalb County home sales prices went up almost 13% last month, but at that same time, the inventory of homes is down about 15%. The smaller inventory allows faster paced sales, which is why prices have gone up.
Local unemployment is down 5.3% this month. Businesses in DeKalb and Kane counties have added 4,200 jobs since last year. The unemployment rate has dropped a full percent since October of last year.
It is the season for giving, and who better to give to than a fellow Husky? If you have any extra coats lying around, NIU's Financial Sense program is collecting coats and other cold weather gear for students, faculty, and staff. If you know someone who needs a coat, have them stop by the Office of Student Academic Success. The coat drive ends April 1st.
The Husky bus line will test a possible new route extension on Lucinda Avenue this week. The street extension connects the main campus to the west side of campus. It will become part of the Barcema Express route, which will run from Northern View Apartments to Barcema Hall.
3 people are injured after 2 separate accidents on Bath Road in Maple Park this weekend. And the accidents were just 14 hours apart. According to the Sheriff's Office, both accidents happened near Bath Road and Route 47 in Campton Township.
In Chicago, the atmosphere is still tense after a video was released showing a white police officer shooting a black teenager 16 times. Protesters in Chicago turned out to disrupt traffic and shopping along the city's famous Magnificent Mile on Black Friday. The protesters chanted, "16 shots, 14 months," referring to the number of bullets that struck Laquan McDonald and the delay of the police, the video, and the pursuit of charges against Chicago's officer Jason Van Dyke. Van Dyke has been charged with murder.
The man charged in the shooting death of 9-year-old Tashawn Lee will not be released on bail. 27-year-old Corey Morgan is charged with first-degree murder. Police say the boy was lured to an alley on Chicago's south side earlier this month. They say Lee was shot multiple times at close range in an apparent case of gang-related retaliation against his father. Investigators say at least 2 more people were involved in the shooting.
Students at the University of Chicago are staying home today. All classes and activities are canceled because of a threat to the Hyde Park campus. The FBI is looking into an online threat of gun violence against the university. Students and faculty were told via email and text to avoid campus or to stay indoors as much as possible if they are on campus.
If you're traveling into Chicago, you might need a way to get to the Elburn train station.
And you might not want to drive your car in the winter snow. It could be easier to call a cab. Reporter Darius Parker shows us how DeKalb's very own taxi service can get you where you need to go.
Meet Steve Silverstein, owner, operator, and self-proclaimed star comedian of DeKalb Taxi. DeKalb Taxi is a door-to-door taxi service that transports families and students of NIU to the Elburn train station 7 days a week, 8 times a day. Steve manages clients by storing their phone numbers and addresses into his phone, as well as in a notebook he keeps handy.
I was a substitute teacher for 3 years, and I decided that I needed to supplement my income, in order to remain self-supportive and so forth, which is not always easy to do in a substitute teaching income. So I obtained a job as a taxi driver, and I really like driving the cab. And I worked full-time during the summertime a couple years ago.
Riders are able to enjoy a spacious van and views of the beautiful DeKalb countryside just before reaching the halfway mark of Elburn. I'm here at the Elburn train station, the midway point between Chicago and DeKalb. And if you're an NIU student looking for a ride, Steve with DeKalb Taxi just might be your guy.
Very dependable, always, very friendly. Everyone's pretty hilarious in the company, so it's very entertaining.
If you look at what we've done over the last years, we've grown at a slow, gradual pace. So I see no reason to believe that won't continue.
Steve says he hopes to provide services to the DeKalb community for years to come. For NTC News in DeKalb, I'm Darius Parker.
The DeKalb Taxi sounds like a good idea to me. I hate driving in the snow.
Well, apparently you won't have that problem today. Emery Danins is out at our weather station now.
Snow is not the concern today with temperatures above freezing, but we have seen rain across the area along with these very gloomy skies. Tuesday will remain cloudy with temperatures in the upper 30s to lower 40s. To hear about the next chance for snow, stay with us. You're watching NTC News Tonight.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
back, everyone. I hope you all had a nice Thanksgiving holiday. Unfortunately, the weather isn't that much better this week. We've seen lots of clouds today, but luckily we're still relatively warm. High of about 42 degrees today, then tonight dipping down only to a low of about 40. If you were outside today, you may have seen a little bit of rain already. Again, mostly overcast skies, unfortunately, and those winds are pretty light for now, but that'll all be changing in the next couple of days. Let's take a look at why. Here on the larger scale, we have all kinds of weather going on across the United States. In the south, possible flash flooding. We do have chances of rain in some areas. This purple is an area of possibility for freezing rain. Over here we have heavy snow and snow over here. A lot of areas in this region are under a winter weather advisory. Luckily for us here in DeKalb, we are staying to the east of that system, so we won't get hit quite as hard, but we do have a chance for some rain this evening. Then as we go into Tuesday, this low will start to push off to the northeast, and again Tuesday night we do have a chance for some rain, snow, depending on the temperature, and then going into Wednesday, that low will push off even more. And finally, what we want to see, this nice high pressure system starts moving into our area later this week, which will bring us sunnier skies and a little bit of warmer temperatures. But let's take it back to tonight, where we'll see mostly cloudy conditions, an overnight low of about 40 degrees, and we will likely see some rain in our area. Then going into Tuesday, more clouds, high of about 38 degrees, very breezy out there, winds from the southwest gusting up to possibly 30 miles per hour, so might feel a little bit cooler out there than you may think, so just be prepared for that. Then going into Tuesday night, more clouds, unfortunately, but again, those will be going away later this week, so don't worry. Overnight low of about 29 degrees, and we do have a chance of snow for Tuesday night. Let's take a look then at our 5-day weather forecast. The good news is for later this week, but again, early this week, we do have to go through some of this wintry mix. 38 degrees high for Tuesday, again, very breezy out there. And then we do have that chance of snow showers Tuesday night, then going into Wednesday, 39 degrees high, possibility for some snow showers in the morning, then possible clearing as we go into the later hours. Thursday finally starting to look better, partly cloudy, high of 39. Then, like we said earlier, that sunshine is coming out for us this weekend. High of about 42 on Friday, then mid-40s with sunny skies on Saturday. That's all for weather, so let's send it back to the desk.
The alleged Planned Parenthood shooter appears in court today.
And another police officer is shot and killed on the job. Here's what's happening in today's World Watch.
The man suspected of killing 3 people at a Planned Parenthood clinic in Colorado is making a video appearance in court today. Robert Louis Deere expressed anti-abortion and anti-government views to investigators, according to police records. Deere surrendered at the end of a 6-hour standoff.
In Pennsylvania, a police officer is shot dead after responding to a domestic call. A woman living near Pittsburgh called police to report an assault. When Officer Lloyd Reed responded to the home, he exchanged gunfire with a suspect who fled on the scene. He was later caught and taken into custody.
A burglary suspect is dead after getting stuck in a chimney. They say he rummaged through the homeowner's things outside a house in California, then climbed into the chimney. But it wasn't until the homeowner started a fire in the fireplace and the burglar cried out that anyone knew he was there. It's still not clear what the exact cause of death was.
World leaders are gathering in Paris for the COP21 Climate Change Conference. Over the next several days, nearly 150 heads of state will discuss ways to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. This all comes weeks after the deadly terror attacks in Paris. And that's today's World Watch. ISIS is terrorizing many areas in the Middle East, and because they claim Islam is their religion, we want to know, what is Islam truly about?
Well, Stoney, here in our community, the people at the DeKalb Mosque are happy to share their beliefs, and they welcomed me with open arms last week. Muhammad Labadi, president of the Islamic Society in DeKalb, praised the Asir, or afternoon prayer, at the new DeKalb Mosque. The mosque hosted an open house to the community, inviting them in not only for tours, but to teach them what the Islam belief is truly about.
To come in and see what Islam is really about and ask Muslims about what they feel is going on around the world and how they really deal with these kind of situations and their neighbors. Is that truly representative of Muslims or not?
And while the Quran teaches peace and acceptance, not all those who learn that in the mosque receive it in the outside world.
Yeah, because like they say, oh, you wear this just because you're bald, you know? I mean, I would like think like, don't judge others, you know? Just maybe it's their religion and you can't judge, you know?
Like somebody was about to take it off of me once.
Yeah.
But outside behavior like that didn't stop the mosque from having its open house, serving finger foods, teaching the 5 pillars of the Muslim faith, allowing guests to witness a prayer, or clearing up a misconception of their faith.
You do not kill children, you do not kill women, you do not kill the elderly. That's in the Quran. So we don't dispute it whatsoever. It was funny because I heard one of the reporters that was in the hand of ISIS or ISIL or whatever they call themselves. They asked him, do these guys, are they Muslims? Do they deal with you as Muslims? He's like, these guys don't even have a Quran. So I don't know anything about them being Muslims. They don't even own a Quran.
Mohammed Labadi, president of the Islamic Society in DeKalb, is here with us now. Mohammed, we've been hearing a lot about Islam in the news recently. So a lot of it must feel like misinformation to you. Do you feel like you have a target on your back simply just for being a Muslim today?
You know, Tony, in all honesty, me personally, I do not feel that, but I know many of my fellow Muslim brothers and sisters do feel that from some of the people here in the United States, which I feel is a bit unfair, knowing where we are in this country, you know, what kind of democracy we have, us appreciating the differences that makes this country great from the different people, the different backgrounds that come here. So when somebody is singled out for anything, whether Muslim, Christian, black, white, what have you, this is not what makes the United States. What makes the United States is diversity. And that's what we're hoping we contribute to this. And we're hoping that with education and with the opportunity to reach out through programs such as this, that we will slowly and surely work on educating people to understand where we really come from.
Now, Muslims worldwide have denounced attacks like the one in Paris, but critics are saying they're not doing it loudly enough. It seems like you're caught in a trap. How do you convince the masses that that's not what mainstream Islam teaches?
Absolutely, Aaron. I mean, there's a few reasons why people have that unfortunately, I would say, misunderstanding of what's going on. It's not that we're reaching out. We are reaching out, but the opportunities that we have on TV or on shows or in newspapers is not as visible as we would like it to be either. So they want us to speak out, but they're not inviting people to speak out as much. That's one reason. The second reason, in all honesty, there's about 2 billion Muslims out there right now in all the countries of the world. So it's like me saying, you know, Aaron and Stoney, why aren't you denouncing what Westboro is doing right now? What, you know, you're all Christians, you're Americans, why aren't you denouncing it? Or somebody who robbed somebody down Anna Glidden, and he's a white male or a black male, and me going out to all the, you know, the people of DeKalb saying, what's wrong with you people? Why are you robbing people? You know, you're all the same way. You can't compare things like, you can't paint all Muslims. There's 2 billion Muslims out there, 2 billion with a B, you know, so that's a lot of people. ISIS or ISIL or whatever they call themselves, about 5,000, 10,000. Did you know that the majority of their victims, truly victims and murderers, over 95%, over 97% are Muslims? You know, they're killing more Muslims than but you don't hear about it. You don't hear about them, you know, with the bombing in Beirut that killed 40, 50 people and injured so many. Every day executing little children, Muslim children, every day, you know. You don't hear that in the news. I think that's part of the issue here.
I know that the DeKalb Mosque does a lot of work in the community. Could you tell us why you're reaching out to neighbors the way you guys are?
Well, it's certainly one of the reasons is our you know, Islam teaches us that we need to take care of our neighbors. We need to reach out and be kind and help out in any way we can. You know, people were saying, you know, our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has emphasized taking care of your neighbors people felt that we might have to put him in our wills, how much he emphasized taking care of the neighbors. So we want to take care of the neighbors. That's because that's what we like to do, but more so nowadays because of exactly what's going on with people having the wrong perception about Islam and Muslims. So we want to reach out and tell them, hey, look at us, see what we do, see who we are. Don't just take it from somebody who's trying to spew wrong information and spew hate, you know, in the minds of. Luckily, we live in a country where most people make a lot of sense of things before they judge. They like to research and do that. But you'll get a few who are not in that boat, if you will. And that's who, you know, we're trying to reach out for everybody.
Now, are people communicating to you that they do understand? Or
when we talk to them, absolutely. Like Aaron, for the open house that we had so many people coming in and they're not sure what they're walking into. You know, they're just like not sure. But by the time they left, all big smiles with a better understanding of what Islam and Muslims are, meeting Muslims, talking to Muslims, versus judging a Muslim or a neighbor who happens to be a Muslim by what somebody else have told you about Islam, and you never have met a Muslim or spoke to another Muslim, for example.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Muhammad.
My pleasure.
For taking the time to shed light on the Muslim community here in DeKalb.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Aaron. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Welcome to NTC Sports. I'm Ryan Mack. Well, it's the end of an era. Laker legend Kobe Bryant is retiring after 20 years in the NBA. Over the weekend, Bryant said in a poem that this season is all he has left to give. Over the 20 years in his career, Bryant has won 5 championships, 3 of them with former teammate Shaquille O'Neal, and was named Finals MVP for 2 of those championships. Kobe is also a 17-time All-Star who was named League MVP in 2008. Kobe leaves a legacy behind him as one of the greatest players ever in the sport of basketball. Now let's move over to the NHL. The Chicago Blackhawks game on Saturday against the LA Kings was pure madness. The game went into overtime, but the Hawks just couldn't take home the win. Let's look at a few highlights from the game. We're in the first period. Brent Seabrook takes a shot. The puck is loose behind the goal, but finds its way to Patrick Kane in the middle. He's there to put the Hawks up by 1. Now Hawks with the puck again. Duncan Keith has it in the corner. He passes out to Nicholas Hjalmarsson. Hjalmarsson shoots and scores. Now Hawks up by 2. But that would be short-lived. Jeff Carter gets his own rebound and gets a goal early in the third period for the Kings. And minutes before the buzzer, the Hawks defense slips up and Andrzej Kopitar finds Marian Gaborik in the middle to send it into overtime. Now in overtime, Gaborik again. He's on a breakaway. Gaborik finds the back of the net, and the Hawks lose this one to the Kings in overtime, 2-3. Now let's talk football. We go to the Giants versus Redskins game yesterday to see a stretch for a catch. This is today's play of the day. It's the fourth quarter, Giants on the 21-yard line. Eli Manning sends the ball deep to Odell Beckham Jr., who leaps out for an amazing catch. Let's look at that one a couple more times. Odell Beckham Jr. stretches out in the end zone for a Giants touchdown. The Giants would lose the game, but Odell Beckham Jr. takes away today's play of the day. Well, that's all for sports. Emily Beebe will be back with our final broadcast of the year on Wednesday. Hope you guys have a great week.
Coming up, one NIU professor gives advice about how to get ready for finals. And it's not to study. We'll explain.
Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions?
No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with him over homework.
Home walk restaurant. Need a review?
No, I need help. He's very smart, but his mind wanders. He's disorganized.
I think I understand.
Oh, good.
French fries. Finding best potatoes.
No!
Russet. Fingerling. Yukon Bowl.
Why don't you understand me?
Sorry, I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Finals start in just 1 week. And some of you might already be feeling checked out.
We'll finish strong, NIU. NTC reporter Kristen Drought shows us a way to stay focused and energized in this final stretch.
Finals are a stressful time for students, but one former NIU professor found a way to keep minds on track. Dan Poyar noticed the need for proper nutrition in our community and opened Grassroots Juicery and Cafe in Sycamore to offer people the chance to change their lives.
When there aren't many quality food options out there, it's easy to understand why people aren't getting the proper nutrition. So when I thought about what type of food establishment would offer proper nutrition, I said to myself, let's start with the most important food group, which is fruits and vegetables.
Experts say the average college student doesn't eat a single serving of fruits or vegetables a day, when we're supposed to get at least 5.
But it just boils down to, when you eat well, you're putting the right things into your body. When you eat poorly, you're putting the bad things into your body, and those bad things are going to have bad effects, from making us feel sluggish, to making us lose our attention span, making us feel bloated, to all kinds of health-related diseases.
Getting proper nutrients helps with focus, knowledge retention, energy levels, and overall quality of life. Poyar suggests eating healthy for a few days and listening to your body. The changes could astound you. With NTC News, I'm Kristen Drought.
Grassroots is located just down the road from Ollie's, if you want to check it out.
Ordering a juice and studying inside the warm cafe might be our best option. Let's get one last look at our weather from Emery out at the weather station.
Don't forget, Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, we do have a chance for snow, so make sure to bring out those scarves and gloves, although you may not need them later this week when that sun comes our way.
Thanks, Emery. NTC News Tonight is produced and directed by students here at Northern Illinois University. We want to thank you all for being with us.
Enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll be back for our final show of the semester on Wednesday.
Goodbye, everyone.